Before I came to Hamilton, I had only spoken English for my oral exams, and I thought my English was pretty good. But everything changed after I came here. As a clueless first-year student, the conversations were no longer just about what's your favorite movie. They were about exposing my deepest self in front of my orientation group, choosing classes with my academic advisor, and trying to make friends as soon as possible. So it did not take me too long to realize that my English was far from pretty good. There were many idioms I had never heard of before, and because I have a different accent, I started to imitate the way my Hamilton peers talk. Every second felt like an oral exam, and every night I went to bed exhausted. I would feel so ashamed when I mispronounced the TH sound when I told people I'm a math major. And if a person asked me to repeat my words one more time, I would take that as an epic failure. So I started to avoid talking with strangers and hid myself from one-on-one social interactions whenever possible. And eventually I just kind of stopped talking. I became a good listener instead. My friends referred to me as the happiest human being in this entire world because instead of talking, I was always laughing. But only I knew I used my laughter to hide the awkwardness when I spoke with an accent. I used to be a very outspoken kid. In high school, I was actively involved with the student government, Model UN, and debate clubs. But that was in China, and I was speaking my native language, Mandarin. After I came here, I gave up on all of those interests because I was really self-conscious when I had to speak English. Finally, in my senior year, I decided to step out of my comfort zone and take a theater class. This entire class is about public speaking and storytelling, and I was terrified of speaking in my classes. Even when it comes to asking the simplest questions, I had to rehearse the sentences in my brain over and over again before I have the courage to raise my hand. But I told myself, this is your last year of experiencing this liberal arts college education, and you only live once. So I decided to sign up for the class. The first assignment was a 10-minute storytelling performance in front of the entire class. And I was so nervous that I almost choked on my own spit in the middle of my performance. And I was even more terrified of opening the feedback email from my professor afterwards, because I thought I would receive so much criticism. But when I opened the email, the first couple sentences read like this. Aurora, I have to tell you that you're such an engaging storyteller and speaker. You invite the audience in with your friendliness and smile, and you hold us by always connecting to us with your eyes. I finished reading her feedback. I read my peers' feedback. I read my TA's feedback. They made comments on my content, my stories, and my facial expressions. But not one of them mentioned about my accent or my English pronunciation. So it wasn't my accent or my occasionally mispronounced syllables that stopped me from being a good speaker. It was my own insecurity, my fear of sounding different that got in the way. My ESOL class used to be the only place I felt safe freely expressing my thoughts, because everyone else in the classroom also spoke with an accent that represents their own native language. But when I'm surrounded by a group of students with American accent, all of a sudden I felt inferior and started to second doubt myself, even though everything about me remained the same. But my accent does not make me a less credible or a less intelligent speaker. Accents are our vocal geography, are the verbal representation of our personal journeys. Just like when my friend pronounced commons as commons, you know that she might be from Chicago. And when I speak with my accent, it speaks to my identity as an international student who grew up in Shanghai, China for 17 years before she came here and had the courage to live and learn in this foreign country. See, you might think that the story so far has nothing to do with you because you might be a native English speaker. But ultimately, I want to tell you that our insecurity about some unchangeable external qualities can get in the way when we're trying to express our thoughts. It could be really intimidating to be the only female in the meeting, the only racial minority at a conference, or the only international in the classroom. And we can be so self-conscious about those qualities that we underestimate our abilities, capacities, and credibility when we're speaking. For example, in the past 3 years, whenever I saw the public speaking competition emails, I always archived them right away. Because I told myself that there's no chance you would ever get in. But here I am. And honestly, even now, I'm still really afraid of mispronouncing words, and I'm really self-conscious about my accent. But I know that I have stories to share, I have opinions to express, and I have issues that I want to advocate for. And that is why I'm speaking for and speaking to the non-native speakers. Do not let your uniqueness mute you. It's something you should be proud of. So speak up. Thank you.